I can remember one of the worst memories of snow. We were in Oklahoma, and I don't know how much it snowed. I'm not going to pull Ron and
37 inches, I think.
Fabricate how much it was, but it was a lot. And I had some guys, and we were going to go hunt. We were going to duck hunt that morning, I think. We were going to go to a pond.
Oh, yes, the day.
And
I don't think it snowed much. It rained a bunch, and then it started snowing.
It had rained, and then it froze, and then it started snowing. So, yeah, the ground wasn't quite frozen solid.
You could say that, huh?
And so I'm driving along, and this was our first full year in Oklahoma, or in the Hobart area.
And it was a wet year.
We hadn't got everything mapped out. We didn't know the roads. I knew this one access to get to this pond, and I'm driving along, and it's a single. It's one car can go down it, not wide enough to turn around in. And I get in the shit, and I break through that snow ice shit, and I start getting on that bottom of that mud. And it had snowed just enough to where I couldn't really make out the road. And I guess I got in a fucking tractor tire ruts or something, and I was that was it. Stuck the trailer. Guys, to my unknowing, from the time I turned onto that dirt road to the time I got stuck, guys were just bailing on me. I'm like, fuck this. I guess they saw that the trailer was going sideways for most of it. And called Jeff, and I'm like, hey, we got a problem. I'm stuck. And I was...
The words I hate to hear at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Couple miles. And that's the thing about hunting in Oklahoma. If we get stuck up there, we're a long way from the cavalry. So I had one vehicle behind me. Started out with 4 or 5. And... they're like, hey, what do you want to do? I'm like, there's nothing fucking we can do. Like, I don't know where the rest of your party's gone to. This trailer's going to be here until God knows when. So luckily, we unhooked the trailer, and I was able to get out of those ruts and up to a place where I could get turned around. Circled back around. By that time, you had gotten there and met the other guys, and it was just, we ended up having to cancel the guys. It was a fucking mess.
We'll cancel this hunt, and we'll hunt again in the morning. Well, they had them a big group discussion, decided I was a no good, sorry, fat motherfucker, was trying to take everybody's money.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a shitty situation.
And they wanted to hunt, but we couldn't hunt that morning. And
all of our equipment is at the trailer.
Yes, I had to call a guy and pay a guy to come get us out. We got all of our stuff out. And then the next morning, they didn't want to hunt.
Right.
And we would have had a good hunt. We had places to go. And it was one of them deals, if we didn't, and a week later, and how we knew how everything went, we would have went and hunted a different place and went there and hunted the next day.
Right.
Just a fucked up deal. That was a miserable morning, though.
That was a bad morning. That ranks up there. I've had so many bad mornings from doing this for so long. Like, this season was really tough. And you're in the moment, and you're kind of like, God damn, I don't ever remember a time being this bad. And then you remember a story like that, and you're like,
well,
that was that bad.
As an outfitter, the stupidest thing I ever done, and there is a long list of stupid shit I have done. Every year you can add one day at least on the list of decisions I make that are bad.
Yeah.
We were in Oklahoma. We were going to hunt over by the feedlot. And we woke up that night. Me and Andy stayed at the Pakistani Hilton is what I called this place. Tony, will you get me a coffee? It was so cold that we had our room was on the north side of the hotel, and the bathroom was on the north wall. And I'm not making this up. There was a skim of ice in the toilet. Now, I'm going to tell you what, you got to really take a shit to sit down on a toilet with a skim of ice on it. It was cold. And so, anyways, our friends, good friends of ours, too, that hunt with us every year, Mike and them were hunting with us, and they drove in, and Mike's a lot of information guy. We always wants a lot of information, wants to know this and that, and I kept telling him, I said, hey, you get here, we got the birds, and it's going to be good hunting weather, but it's going to be shitty. Well, Mike and them got in about 10 o'clock at night. Me and Andy had been there the day before. I pride myself on being some things like my dad was, and Dad was usually over-prepared for most situations. Mm-hmm. And I pay attention to the weather a lot, and I knew it was going to get bad, and I knew we were going to have some blizzard-like conditions. So we're at the Pakistani Hilton, and I told Andy, I said, listen, you need to go down to Walmart and buy you an extra blanket. I bought some food for the room so we have things to eat, but you need to go down there. Andy's exact words, I'd be all right. Okay. So that front hit. We looked outside, and it was snowing cold, and the light started flickering a little bit. And Andy goes, I think I'll go down to Walmart and get me something. About that time,
there the lights went out in Georgia.
Out. So from that night, and then Mike and them got there late that night. All the lights were out. There was no power in town. And it was blowing 35, 40 miles an hour, and it was just starting to snow a little bit. And the next morning we got up at 4:30 in the morning, and you couldn't even see the trucks from it snowing so hard, and the wind was blowing so hard.
Yep.
Finally, I talked to Mike and them. I said, listen, let's try it again at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. About 10 o'clock, we finally got on the road, and we drove to the field, and you could not even see the field. Well, we went in to set up to hunt, and we hunted one afternoon, remember? And we hunt down on the bottom, and we killed some birds.
We got stuck there, too.
We got stuck. So the next day, we decided we were going to hunt another field, and instead of just hunting on the edge row like we do now, we tried to hunt in the middle of the field. Well, we got my truck stuck in the kill hole.
Yeah.
Stuck.
I think I still got a picture somewhere.
Had to call a guy that's a friend of ours, Zach, who we live behind up there. We rent a house from him now.
And he told us, before we hunted, this is a no-till field. Don't leave ruts.
Yeah.
That was the information I had going into there.
Well, I'm thinking everything's froze over. It's 30 degrees.
Yeah.
Or 20 degrees or 10 degrees. It was cold and windy and miserable. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face. And here I am with my fucking truck stuck with decoys around it. If we would have just hunted on the edge row, we'd have shot a limited geese and have been done in about 2 hours max, maybe an hour. So that was one of the worst decisions I've ever made. But that was a miserable time in the snow and one of the worst I remember. That whole winter, I spent a ton of money paying people to get me out of ditches and everything else. I ain't getting stuck in Oklahoma no more. I know which roads I can go down and which ones I can't go down. And that was the learning curve that I went through that year.
That's just one of those things about going to a new area. Like out here.
We don't get stuck out here very often because we know where we can go.
I can tell you, like, I can't get down that road.
Yeah. We know where you can go. And then some roads you look down there like, there's no way you can get down that road. Oh, it's got a hard bottom. It's not a problem at all.
Right.
And it's sandy here. But you can get some areas and it's not. But
when you're just flying by the seat of your pants in an area that you don't know and you're like, oh, it doesn't look bad. Back at home, I could probably make it. Well, that's how you end up in the ditch. I'm trying to find that picture
of me stuck in the spread.
Of you stuck in the spread. We stuck a decoy on top of there.
Of the truck.
Fuck, there's nothing you can do about it.
Sitting in the truck watching them all. Andy's calling and they're looking at me and I thought, God damn, boy, hope somebody don't make a bad decision here.
I have just really fucked up. Now, there was another hunt. We hunted a field here at home. And Jeff tells me, leave the blind up. We're going to go there in the morning.
Oh, shit. You hear this, Tony?
Leave the blind up. We're going to go there. We're going to go there in the morning. It is raining that day. It's raining in the morning.
It's a hay grazer field
we shot a quick limit, and Jeff says, leave the blind up. We'll go there in the morning.
Yep. Pick the decoys up, but leave the blind.
Leave the blind because it's going to rain, and we don't want...
And we can get to it from the road.
We don't want our decoys fucked up.
Okay.
I leave it. And then in the middle of the night, somehow the fucking plans change.
No, we went back to hunt there, didn't we?
No.
Oh, that was the day that y'all got fucking stuck in we went to the other Milo field.
Now we're getting there.
And we got stuck. See, we should have done what I originally... If we'd have done what I originally called to do, it would have worked a lot better deal.
So in the middle of the night, the plan is, oh no, we're going to combine everybody. It's supposed to snow.
And we had a field with a shitload of ducks in it besides geese. God, there was a ton of birds in it.
We're going to combine groups.
The boys from California here with us.
They were here. Trey Woodard was here. We're going to combine groups.
And Eric Collins was here from Kansas City, too. That group had a group here, I think.
And we're going to hunt this field. Right off of the Roos Lake, this is where we're hunting. Bad weather, this is where we're going.
It was a good plan.
And then when I knew that it was going to be a long morning, so Logan Landers and I, we go out there to tear the blinds down. Well, I don't know if you know this or not, but when it rains a whole bunch and then the temperature drops below 32 degrees, there's an effect. It's the natural phenomenon. It's called freezing. And I could not for the life of me get those fucking blinds apart. Like they were frozen in place.
That was another one of those 5:30 in the morning calls. We got a problem.
So Tony was there for some reason. Did we call you, Tony, or were you there to carry the Ranger?
No, Tony had to bring the Ranger because y'all got stuck on one of them.
No. No, he was there when when Zach and Blake went off on their ill-fated voyage.
Dad needed the Ranger for a pheasant hunt or something, and Tony said, "Well, here, I'll take it to y'all."
A four-wheeler. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 4-wheeler.
No, it was a Ranger because I remember Zach and Blake sitting side by side.
No, that was the
one.
second we had to go get after they stuck the first one.
No, that was the one that had the Rhino.
The Rhino, yeah, Red Rhino. So Logan and I end up throwing the A-frames in the back of my pickup already assembled because they're not coming apart.
That works out good though that way.
Yeah, except for we had to make a million trips because I think we had 4 blinds set up that day. And Zach and Blake back the Rhino up, and they say, okay, we're going to go to the spot. Tony and I are standing there. I'm already pissed because I couldn't get the fucking blinds apart, and, it's a fucking mess already. And then, So, hold on. I'm going to get me some more Dirty Duck coffee. Oh, makes it nice on these cold days.
I've drank more coffee in the last 5 days than I have in
so have I.
the year before.
So we're sitting there. Thank you. We're sitting there as Blake and Zach go off into the darkness, and they're going along, and you can always tell, like when shit hits the fan and somebody's on a ATV, and it bogs down. And then they just fucking gas it, and they try to turn around, and you can just hear it revving higher and higher and higher. And you can see them throwing mud out there, and then all of a sudden it just slows down to a stop. And then I'm thinking, oh, what the fuck are we going to do now?
Should have listened to Jeff and went in on the oil field road like you tried to say we should have done.
We were at the oil field road.
No, we weren't either. No, y'all were in the levee. I said...
We went to the oil field road.
No.
Yes,
the
we
oil
did.
field's on the south side.
That's where we were.
You should have stayed on the gravel road. You could drive a pickup right to the oil field.
They drove down the gravel road to that little landing that sticks out in the field.
And that's where I would have hunted right there.
It was a north wind.
I would have still hunted there and shot a bunch of birds.
So they tried to get around to figure out. They tried to go through there into the middle of the field, and they just buried
Regardless,
that fucking
we
rhino.
went from when I went to bed that night, I was like, whew. This is
Not
going to
a
be one of
worry in
them
the
barn
world.
burners. This is going to be one of them 50, 60 geese, steals 30, 40. We might shoot 100 birds tomorrow with 12 guys.
So now all of a sudden we got 12 guys. We've got a Red Ranger stuck in the middle of the field.
In a trailer that was there for about 3 weeks.
A trailer. We've got already assembled frozen blinds. Oh, no, I remember what we only got. I threw one blind in the back of my pickup. Logan threw one in the back of his. We were going to have Blake and Zach drop off those. We were going to go back to the field, get the remaining A-frames, come back. Like, there were already too many wheels in motion for this. And then, it's like...
we're a pretty organized place. That's what's funny about all this.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, there's a day or two out of every year where it's just, fuck the luck. This was terrible.
If we'd have just went with my original deal, but I got greedy because I wanted to shoot 100 birds.
Yeah.
And what's bad is I day leased that spot.
Oh, yeah.
If we'd just hunted on our season lease place, it would have been no problem at all.
So we, it's like, well, what are we going to do now? Rhino's out there with the trailer. We don't have enough A-frames for everybody. So I remember we drove to the North Levee. We had the guys walk around, and basically it was just hide under, find a fucking tumbleweed, sit down, and then let's just pray. So we have 12 swinging dicks on the North Levee, and we've got maybe 15 dozen decoys out in front of us.
And y'all shot some birds. Wasn't a lot.
Well, it wasn't a lot, but Jesus.
Then we went that afternoon, and we did afternoon duck hunt there. And I'll never forget the guy telling me, Eric told me this. He had Gunner, and I turned Gunner loose on himself to do a hunt. And they were killing green-winged teal and gadwalls and widgeons in there. A few mallards and pintails. I mean, it was a really good afternoon duck hunt. And anyways, they got all set up. We told him exactly where to go, what to do, and everything. We're watching from the road, and he starts killing ducks. Bah, 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 bah.
Yeah.
And I have to get on to him because he wants to get up and fucking go pick up birds. Let the fucking birds. This is a pet peeve of mine. If you're doing a waterfowl hunt and you knock 4 birds down and you need 36 to go or whatever it is, don't worry about if there's ducks flying. Go get those 4 birds. You can go get them in a minute. They're dead. They're not going nowhere.
Right.
Those 4 dead ducks out there in the spread are not going to make any. If that duck can see that fucking duck is dead and not feeding, then that fucking duck's too smart to be shooting anyways.
Now, if you got 12 dead ducks, you might want to start picking some shit up. But
know.
if you got 4,
But still, it doesn't matter. I mean, you're not. I mean, they just look like more decoys out there. They can't.
well,
tell.
not if they're belly up. I disagree with you there. But if everything's belly down,
If that duck flies by that pintail and he goes, "Oh shit, that widgeon's upside down. Let's go somewhere else." You're shooting some smart fucking ducks.
I say clean up.
Okay.
If you have over 10 birds in your kill hole,
I
pick up.
called Gunner up and I said, "Stay in the fucking blind and hunt. You don't have to get up every 3 seconds."
Right. And that's what he was doing.
And
Anytime.
he was trying to do the right thing. Anyways, they shot a bunch of birds. So anyways, Eric, after the hunt, they shot a limited ducks, and I asked him about it, and he goes, "Yeah." He said, Gunner told me that's the first time he'd ever done a field duck hunt. I was like, fuck. I said it was, but I said we knew what he was supposed to do, and I wasn't worried about his hunting ability. It was just knowing how to do it, and but that's the first time I've ever done a field duck hunt.
And that's another thing. If you're a guide, fake it until you make it. You've done it a million times, and this is going to be just like any other time. Don't tell your customer, "Oh yeah, I'm glad this worked out. This was my first time."
Yeah, first time I've ever done this.